Nikki, you there?
I'm here.
Nikki from Nicki Needs an Adult podcast. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. And your podcast is about being an adult, but not having the correct answers to be an adult, correct?
Exactly. It's that moment where you're standing there and you're like, how am I supposed to do this? You know, like you just don't know how to actually be a grown-up because you just want to eat trick cereal and call into work.
I was going to say, that's the best thing about being an adult is nobody could tell me I can't eat the entire pack of Oreos or the entire cheese Danish from Entenmann's. Like, I could do that. I have that power, but then my stomach hurts. A lot. What is the most difficult thing you find about adulting?
I think the most difficult thing for me is feeling like I'm never prepared for situations that as a younger person I thought I would be. Like when I was 18, I thought I had all the answers, but here at 36, I realize I don't know anything. Like I don't know how to do, like I'm just making it up as I go along. And sometimes, I just don't know the right answer. I don't know how to take all this knowledge that I'm supposed to have and use it in the appropriate way. And sometimes it's just realizing that there is no appropriate way. It's, it's someone else's standard, and you've got to make your own path in that.
Yeah.
So I just want to say, so you thought you had all that knowledge when you were 18 and then realized at 36 that you didn't. Was 36 the point? So was it 18 to 36? Or is there like an earlier age that you start realizing?
I think what really, my big turning point was when I turned 30, I had my youngest child. So I had a 8-year-old and a baby. And I thought that at 30, everything was supposed to happen. Like you would feel settled in your life, that you would no longer feel like you were still searching for answers.
Yep, you'd be set.
And say it one more time.
Like you would be set. That's what I always thought.
But it's not that way at all.
Yep.
It's not. Like you still have those feelings of like loneliness or searching for who you want to be. Like that never ends. And the older I got and the older like my peers got, the more I realized that you never really know how you're going to turn out. Like because it always changes.
Yeah. Any one bad day can lead to whatever.
Exactly. Right. That's why I don't understand why I have a daughter who will be a freshman next year. And they're like, when you grow up, what do you want to be? And what college do you want to go to? And I'm like, dude, I'm almost 40 and I don't even know what I'm supposed to be when I grow up. How is she supposed to know at 14?
I asked my aunt once, I said, does it ever get any easier? And she said no. And I was like, thank you for the honest answer. Like, I appreciated that, just hearing that. Because I always thought, by 30, then I was like, oh, by 40, no, you never.
No.
You never know.
It doesn't. And the good part is that acknowledging that it, like, never stops, you can start to kind of evolve into who you are as a person and not feel bad about that.
Exactly. You just know it's going to be a shit show sometimes.
Sorry.
I said you just know it's going to be a shit show sometimes.
Exactly. You just, you accept it. And I don't know what the male experience is for this. I mean, I have a husband, but, like, I'm not a dude, so I don't know what it's like to be a man in their 30s. But for women, the expectation, especially once you have a family, is that you have your shit together and that you are running that household and that you are, like, the forefront. And it's just not that way. Like, there are days where I just want to, like, leave work and go home and day drink and ask my mom to pick up my kids. Like, that's just the honest to God truth.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
It's interesting you bring up as being a kid and them everybody kind of pushing this, like, what are you going to do when you grow up? And it's constantly, like, pushed on us.
Yes.
And then you do, when you get to be an adult, you feel like a failure because you were told, like, to be successful, you got to go to college. And you got to pick the right career. And you got to be a policeman or a fireman or, like, at least as a male, like, you got to do these.
Astronaut.
Yeah, cowboy astronaut. And then, like, you don't. And it just, the rest of your adulthood just feels like shit because you just feel like a loser because that's kind of like, in a sense, you're told from the beginning that you're going to be a loser. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Like, nobody tells their kids, if you grow up to be a garbage man, that's okay because you're getting a paycheck.
Yes.
No one tells their kids that.
That's true. That's true. And you know, there was always the saying, world needs ditch diggers too. But yeah, you should be told if you want to be a mechanic or if you want to be a bus driver. That's okay too. Like truck driver, anything. As long as you're doing something decent.
I'm the weird mom who's like, when everybody's like, my son wants, I don't know what the deal is because I live like, I don't know if you know what Purdue University is. It's a Big Ten school, right? And so everybody doesn't want to go here. Like, a lot of people go to Michigan State and stuff. Like, they don't ever want to go to Purdue because it's everybody, you know, that my daughter goes to school with, they teach there. My kid goes to the school with a lot of professors' kids. And I'm always the one who's like, we don't want her to go after she graduates. Like, give it a year. And the parents are like, ooh. I'm just like, school's expensive. Like, why should she have to graduate from high school and know what she wants to be and just go to college?
You should be able to take a year or whatever. Yeah, like I felt rushed and I totally fucked up because I felt rushed.
Same.
Yeah.
So me and our third Mike's Lamborghini, we both just turned 31.
Yeah.
And I could connect to a lot of the things you're saying because I do remember being 18 and thinking, man, when I'm 30, my life is going to be set. I'm going to be married. I'm going to have a high-paying job. I'm going to own a house and a nice car, and none of that. I'm single, living with some douchebag.
What are you talking about, Sam? I'm a good roommate.
And just drinking beer and speaking and speaking into a microphone.
Exactly. Like, it never went the way you thought. Like,
yeah.
I kid you not, like, this is honest God, from 4 to 16, I thought I was going to grow up and make Muppets. I am not kidding. I know that sounds stupid, but, like, that was my goal. I was going to grow up and make Muppets.
I just wanted to draw.
I wanted to be I thought I was going to be a cartoonist. Cartoonist was what I thought, yeah.
I thought that was a good, and then you meet guys who do art, and they're like the guy we used to know, Roberto, and he'd be like, he did it for a hobby, and he was great at it, but he said he could never make money off of it.
Right. Like, that wasn't a thing. So I went to college for history because, like, I really wanted to do makeup, and I learned how to do all that. And I went to college for history because, like, I mean, I'm not originally from West Lafayette. I'm from an even smaller place in bumfuck, Indiana. And, like, you didn't grow up to be a makeup artist. You grew up to be a factory worker. So I was like, well, I want to go to college for history. Okay, what am I going to do with that? I should have just gone to school for makeup because I didn't do anything with that. But at 18, it was like, I know everything, and I'm going to go do this. I should have done what I wanted to do. And I think you guys are 31, so, like, our generation was kind of told, don't waste your time doing what you want to do, like those Gen Xers did. You should go and find something that will make you money.
Yeah. Yep.
Now we're all losers with podcasts.
Everybody's got a podcast.
That's the thing, too, though. You think a lot, as a kid, a lot of the cool stuff that you want to grow up and be, you think, like, there's a lot of money in it. And it's like, for me, it was always creative shit, like Rob said, like drawing and cartooning or being on a television show or like none of that shit makes you anything. Like maybe only if you get like fucking really famous.
Or
but for
you
the
talk
most
to
part,
the guy that was really famous and he's still struggling just to get a gig. Like,
yeah.
We've talked to. Like it's always a grind. You realize, you're always gonna work.
And maybe that's the issue, is that you're always told that, like, hey, you do this thing and you're gonna make it, but you're never told, no, you have to work your ass off.
Right.
You're gonna be living on the street.
It.
And like,
you see fucking Karate Kid, and for 20 minutes the guy's training, and then he's kicking ass. Like, you think you're gonna go out there and kick ass for 20 minutes of you're the best around? No, you're gonna be fighting.
You're gonna be fighting Johnny for the next 10 years.
Getting your fucking bike thrown in the fucking mud. You're gonna be fucked up forever.
Well, look at Bruce Lee. Like, if you want to even go through that, like, he didn't even become a star until he was like in his like mid-30s, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yup.
And so like when I talk to kids or when, because like I always have groups of children at my house, not in a creepy way, which I know I just made myself sound weird, because I have kids.
Yeah, that's okay.
But,
like Slim when he has kids over, it's like, why you don't have kids? Like, you're a fucking freak, dude.
But like I was telling them, like
for book club, Rob.
Nothing you have, you're not going to have to work for. Like,
yeah.
Like, don't think that even though I may not have extravagant things, like every single thing I have I own because I worked for it. Nobody's handing out houses.
Yep.
Like, this doesn't work.
Yeah. They should. I want that fucking house.
They should.
Yeah. I lived and I should have a house. I should have everything.
Is that how you feel about things? Like, I exist, therefore all things should come to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
You might need an adult more than I do.
Probably. Nikki, what you hit a lot of hard topics on your show. What has been one of your favorite shows that you've done?
I think if I had to be really honest, if you took the whole first, like, 6 months I did it and threw it away, that would be nice, because I'm still trying to figure this out, because, like, at least you guys have, like, each other. I'm by myself in, like, a corner of my living room, so I had to kind of figure out how to do everything.
Yeah.
The one that, like, I did, that I don't know why it made such a big deal, was the one that I just did, the fat episode, because one, it was the first time I ever got a troll because of an episode, so I knew I did something right.
Yeah.
And two,
yeah.
And two, because, like, not only did I say, like, why do you care? Like, why do you care if people are fat? What is the deal? But I also said that I'm not out to make anybody feel ashamed for. I wasn't going to sit there and preach to people about how to lose weight, but I also wasn't going to sit there and tell people that it was okay to worry about this still. Like, once you get into your, like, 30s, no one should care what anybody else looks like because we all look like shit.
I feel like
so
that.
Why does anyone care?
In your 20s, you should start accepting people for who they are.
Yeah.
You should stop giving a shit about it.
I don't know. In your 20s, you're still so stupid. I don't even know if you have time to accept that. And you don't accept yourself in your 20s because you're still living the dream.
I think I stopped being judgmental probably at about 29 or 30. Like, I was definitely very judgmental and judging people by, like, oh, look at that fat piece of shit over there. But, like, I'm not that way anymore, you know? Like,
thanks, Slim.
I would say that to Slambo all the time. But now that I'm 30, I go, man, look at that sexy beast. I wish I could be like him.
Look at that sexy fat gentleman in the corner of our living room.
Have you guys seen Endgame yet?
Yes.
They have. I have not, but
I was like,
Okay, never mind.
Really liked it.
No, go
ahead. So Rob's already. Rob watched the Spider-Man trailer where he's like Tom Holland, Tobey Maguire. Tobey Maguire. British Tobey Maguire shows up and goes, "Don't watch this." And Rob's like, "I'm not a pussy."
Yeah,
and he watched it, so Rob doesn't care. Rob already knows Iron Man dies. Oh, I hope nobody's listening who didn't see Endgame.
Iron Man's dead to me.
Thor as a fat man was like I wish Chris Hemsworth was actually a fat man.
That was amazing. And you know, I think it was the idea of like them getting to the point where they realized we have to let Chris Hemsworth be Chris Hemsworth. Like, not saying that he's fat, but he's comedic. He's you know, like a silly guy, and he can't be serious. And they realized that in Thor Ragnarok.
I hated Thor till Ragnarok.
Because they realized like this is how this guy shines. And Fat Thor was probably one of my favorite things about
I gotta
that movie.
See that now. That makes me want to see it. Fuck.
You need to see it. Get over yourself. It's a good movie.
A cool. I was still kind of. I didn't hate it. I liked Infinity War better.
Yeah,
there was a lot of there was a lot of things I liked in Endgame, but I was kind of like I don't know. A lot of people are like, "This is the most amazing thing in the world," and I'm like, "It was okay. It was a good conclusion. It concluded the past 11 years of superhero movies. There were some cool things, but it was slow in the beginning." And I liked Infinity War better, and that's just where I stand.
That's okay. You're allowed to like it better and be wrong. That's all right.
I'm usually wrong, so
I agree. Does it tie into the other movies? Because like Infinity War picked up from Thor. Ragnarok. Does
Yeah.
it go with
It
the...
ties into the other ones.
Okay.
It does.
It picks up right after Captain Marvel.
That's what I figured.
Where Captain Marvel ends is
Since
where
that was the
like,
last, and I never saw that, but I want to see it because I love the trailer. I love just the blockbuster video scene, like, and that's what I was worried about. It's gonna be overkill with like '90s nostalgia, but people said it wasn't.
No.
People said it was still good.
One of the I loved it, but I also was disappointed. Is I feel like we missed like a whole piece of the Incredible Hulk's development, and there was something they kind of just jumped from one part to another with him.
Ragnarok made me love the Hulk too because that they like I wanted to see him becoming Professor Hulk, and we didn't see that. There was just like he just was there. Because I loved what they did with the Hulk in Ragnarok as well. Like I never liked the Hulk or Thor till that movie. Like I felt like they finally became lovable for me, at least.
I loved. Okay, so to me, Thor was like funny, and I liked because here's the thing, like Skyward's supposed to be like the funny one, but I think that Chris Pratt has become a major asshole. So like I can do without him.
I love Star-Lord.
Star-Lord from Galaxy
Guardians
of the Galaxy, yeah.
Yeah.
Like but to see Thor is funny, but the thing that kind of like Thor was this big Jim Morrison, like big mammal kind of looking dude, and he was funny, and people were drawn to him, and women were still attracted to him as a big man. And I was like, so you don't give a shit that he's big because you know he's still hot. And it's the same thought process. Like, why do you care?
Yeah.
What makes you care? And that's why, like, I ask people to answer questions in my DMs because then, one, they feel kind of protected because everybody's limit was 400 pounds. Like, if you're over 400 pounds, then you're disgusting. And I was like, oh, so there's a threshold. So once you get over 400 pounds, you should just be on TLC and no one can love you. So,
so it really comes down to a growing up thing. When we're younger, especially being males, like, we've kind of been conditioned to, like, this is the perfect woman. This is what you should be into. When you get older, you start becoming more attractive to personalities, and you start realizing what the world really is. And it's just, I don't know. I'm drunk, but I'm just saying it's a growing.
He got his ass kicked.
It's a growing up thing, because I will admit that when I was younger, I wasn't attracted to bigger women. Where like being older, like I like bigger. I like anyone. I like women. I like if you have the right personality for me, I'm not gonna judge you on the way.
Sounds like
you,
a Driz
you look.
song.
but here's the real question: when you were younger, were women that were bigger as confident as what they've seen when now that you're older? Like when you were younger, you saw a big girl where she is confident to you, because it's not. This is a two-way street. Women who are bigger when they're younger, high school into their 20s, are so ashamed they can't accept themselves that it's hard for men to be attracted to somebody who physically, yes, they may not be attracted to, but emotionally they come off as needy.
Oh, okay.
You have to build that confidence in yourself. And I'm not trying to shame women or anything like that. I'm just saying, like, the faster we learn to accept our bodies, the quicker it is that, like, we can just start doing it. And then it just goes from there.
So do you feel that it's better when younger people accept their bodies now compared to years ago?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that it's hard for me to deal with because, like, in the 90s we were it was not that way. You know, like, it was not that way. You needed to be thin.
Yeah.
So it's hard for me to, like, see it, but I think that it's cool that it can happen. Like, you know, like, I'm like, okay, she's just that way, but she accepts her body, and it's none of my business. Because that's really what it is. It's none of anybody else's business.
Correct.
So she accepts her body, and she wants to walk around however, that's fine. There are way worse people in the world. They run our country. And so, you know, than a lady in a tube top. And I can handle that.
Cool. And Nikki, you do a different subject every week. Would you be able to tell us what your next one's going to be about, or do you keep that to yourself?
Oh, I'll tell you because people already know. My next one is actually about cultural appropriation with gay culture, especially gay male culture. And does that work into the misogyny? Because there's a popular topic amongst women about misogyny and gay male culture. And how did all of that kind of come about? So
like you feel like they're better than women? Is that...
it's not so much that, it's that there's a feeling amongst some women that gay men treat them poorly and have a negative view of them. Like gay men want to hold women down, or that they feel negative about them.
Wait, I never heard of that. Like, that's a thing you're saying. Are you saying that's a thing, or are you saying that's a belief? Okay, so you're...
It's a belief of people. I never experienced it, and I spend a lot of time with people in the community, and I've never experienced it personally. But there are a lot of people who have. Like, if you get a group of straight white women in a gay bar, they're not going to get treated the same as someone who is gay. And, you know, where does that come from? And that's what the next episode's about, because we're in a time right now where, like, drag queens are really popular and gay culture is, like, everywhere. And is it everywhere because white women have appropriated it, or is it everywhere because gay culture has become mainstream? It's a weird thing, but it's out there, and women are talking about it, so...
Cool. Sounds like a great episode. Do you find your show therapeutic?
For myself, not necessarily, because this is stuff that I think about, like, at 2 o'clock in the morning when I'm on Twitter and I'm watching people have conversations.
Okay. Yeah.
More than anything, I just want, because, like, the whole thought process is that we as adults have been taught things that maybe weren't correct, and I'm trying to bring those subjects to light to get other adults to think about it and have conversation.
I loved your
Black
episode.
History Month one.
I'm sorry, what's that, Nikki?
I did a show about Black History Month, and it wasn't, because, like, as a white person, it's not, like, appropriate for me to teach people about Black history, you know? That's inappropriate of me to do. But what it is appropriate of me to do is say, hey, everything you were taught in school was probably fucked up, and we need to have a conversation about that, so then we can treat other people the way they need to, and honestly learn about this culture that we brought into this country.
I loved your episode about money. Just saying, like, you know, your parents didn't know what they were doing.
No. Well, mine personally sure as fuck didn't. I lived in a trailer. But, like, they didn't. Parents, well, trust me, I grew up in, like, white trash heaven, but, like, our parents in the 90s, coming out of the 80s, they didn't know about money. They didn't.
My parents were smart. They always saved. And I was always like, yeah, but, look, why didn't you have what the other parents have? But then when they got older, when they could afford it, they got it. So, like, my parents were always smart with it, but it just, like...
Oh, that's good.
It was just rough, though.
Role models.
Yeah, my mom especially is just amazing with money. Like,
my mother is the most impulsive person I've ever met. She can't save a dime if she tried. Like,
yeah, no, my parents did it right. They actually saved. I think, like most when they actually did buy a house, they put most of it down with cash. Like they were always had the plan and they always stuck to it. They were really good.
That's good. Maybe that's why you thought you should get a house for being born.
Yes, because I'm the son of...
Entitled.
Yeah. Give me that house. Nikki, we had to wrap this up, but it's been great talking to you.
Nikki,
well, thank you so much for having me on.
I want to say one thing, though, and I feel like a lot of your topics and stuff and what we've talked about tonight, I think it really comes down to that our culture and the time that we're in right now is a lot of people just lack compassion. And I think that's the biggest issue, is that we don't understand how to listen to other people or understand other people, and that I've mentioned in an earlier interview, a lot of us have become very self-absorbed. And I think that's where a lot of the things stem from.
I would say, what would Jesus do? Mm-hmm. No, I don't. Nikki, where can everybody find you?
You can find me, if you want to listen to the show, which is the best part, you can find it on Podbean, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, everywhere. If you Google Nicki Needs an Adult, it'll give you tons of places. You can find me at Needs Adult on Twitter. I get lots of weird dick pics because I think I'm porn. And Nicki Needs an Adult on Instagram.
Slim, we'll be sending you dick pics later.
All of them.
Awesome. I'm so excited. My old married lady self will just be so thrilled.
Thanks again, Nikki. It was great talking.
No, thank you. Have a good night, guys.
You too.
Have a good one.